a moment for your body. Take a moment for your mind. Take a moment for your spirit. Take a moment to be well. Take a moment to be healthy. Take a moment when you pray. Take a moment for worship. Take a moment every day. Take a moment for your body. Take a moment for your mind. Take a moment for your spirit. Take a moment to be well. Take a moment to be happy. Take a moment when you pray. Take a moment for worship. Take a moment to show you care. Take a moment to show you care. Just to show how much you care. Yeah.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to another Healing Moment session. Good evening, Lori. How are you today?
Well, Sherry, how are you?
I'm doing well.
You look radiant as always.
As usual, we want to start with a word of prayer. We have an exciting, packed program for you this evening, don't we, Lori?
Oh, we do. We do.
Okay, so let's pray. Our Father which art in heaven, we thank you so much for being with us. We pray that as we go into our session this evening, that you will guide our thoughts, you will guide the words that we say, and everything we done will be in your name's honor and glory. For Christ's sake, amen. And this evening, I'm going to be doing something a little different. In that, I'm doing this evening's devotion. So kindly listen carefully as we have our devotion for this evening. And it's entitled, What's in Name? Based on the text, 2 Chronicles 20, verse 15. Part of it which says, Be not afraid nor dismayed, for the battle is not yours, but God's. When Israel was threatened by the armies of Amalek, God gave them a glorious victory. Realizing that God was fighting the battle for them, Moses built an altar to Jehovah Nissi, the Lord, my banner. Fighting our own battles was never God's idea. The Bible says, the Lord is a man of war, Exodus 15:3. The Lord shall fight for you, and ye shall hold your peace. Be not afraid or dismayed, for the battle is not yours, but God's. As human beings, we get exhausted and discouraged because we keep trying to fight in our own strength, and we engage in fruitless cycles of repentance, resolution, spiritual conflict, struggle, defeat, discouragement, and it goes on and on and on. And we repent over and over again. We are told that the only spiritual conflict that ever successfully won is the one that God fights for us. He doesn't expect us to win the battle, but to let him win it on our behalf. But aren't we supposed to fight too? You may ask. Yes, we are to fight the good fight of faith. 1 Timothy 6:12 tells us that ours isn't a battle of exhausting effort, but it's the battle of believing. But aren't we supposed to wrestle like Jacob did? First of all, Jacob didn't win by wrestling. He won by being rendered too weak to keep wrestling. Secondly, his victory lay in surrender to God. Are you worn out from the battle? Whatever battle you're fighting this evening, are you at the end of your rope? Then you're just where God wants you, where he wants you to let go and trust Jehovah Nissi to prevail for you. Because remember, the battle is not yours, but God's. So stand up this evening and declare with Paul, when I am weak, then am I strong. Have a good evening, everyone.
Thank you very much, Sherry, for this wonderful devotion. This evening, I would like to once again welcome all of our guests here on Healing Moments. Those of you who are joining us on Zoom and those who are also joining us on YouTube. We always encourage you to invite your friends, your neighbors, families to share in this moment with us. We are in the final week of our month called Sexual Health. And this evening, we have a special treat for you. We have with us our special guest in the person of Miss Rebecca Beckles. Rebecca has been a Seventh-day Adventist Christian all her life and currently attends the USC Church in Maracas Valley, St. Joseph, Trinidad. Yes, she's coming all the way from Trinidad, where she serves as head of family life and assistant hospitality leader. She has been employed with the Ministry of Education as a guidance officer for the past 15 years and is also a sex therapist, the main focus being education. She is the author of book Eating His Cake and Wanting to Have It Too, The Married Man's Dilemma. She enjoys helping people, loves animals, and your dogs. Rebecca, we would like to welcome you on Healing Moments this evening, and we hope that you will enjoy your evening.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. Okay, so I am really happy to be here with you this afternoon. This is the first time that I'm joining. I heard that you all were having a very good time so far, and I trust that I will contribute to helping you continue enjoying yourself. So this afternoon, basically, I would just drop some small information, short information, and then open up to questions. I hope that you came with your questions. I hope your questions are not going to be too hard, though. Be easy on me. I'm your first time guest. All right, so this afternoon we're talking about healing moments. I saw that as the banner in the back, and we're talking about sexual health. So this is where I will start. I will want you to go down memory lane. Yes, so we're going down memory lane. How many of you here this afternoon are married? Is everybody married? So you can go ahead and use the raise hand reaction. So I would see all of the married people. Any married people here? All right, the hands are going up. 4, 5. All right, okay, so I'm seeing 7. All right, so we have some married persons here, so you can go down that journey. So see if you could remember the days when you were just getting to know your person. Can you remember how you spent hours on the phone, talking forever, and when you were done, you still had more to say? I remember once, I always give this story, it's such a sad, sappy story. I remember getting to know a guy, I was really interested in him, and I stayed on the phone 4 hours one night. Although I had an exam next day, I failed my exam. That was the one course I failed for that entire program that I was doing. I was so mad at myself because, of course, he is married now, not to me. So I mean, that's why I said it's a sappy story, because I mean, after I went through all that, I had to repeat the entire year. I did not get to graduate just because of that one course. But yes, that's what I'm talking about. When we're trying to get to know somebody, we do all those things. So yes. So we talk and we talk and we talk until tomorrow. And the only reason we stop is because we have to go back to work. And even during work, we send messages. I mean, we remember those times. Then do you remember when you just got married? It would seem as though we couldn't keep our hands off each other. We were so much in love, we would run each other around the house. I mean, love sparks were flying everywhere. But of course, we still married to the same people. But a lot of couples sadly only remember those as a distant memory. A distant memory because those things that we just talked about that we remember, those were things that used to happen. Those things no longer happen. All right, so then if it's the same two persons, then what changed? What happened? So the short answer is life. Okay, so life happened. We got children, we had more responsibilities, we got tired. When the night comes, all we want to do is sleep. We had the up and downs of maybe we opened a new business together. We tired, maybe we are now menopausal. So life happened. And so all those giddy things that we're talking about, they are just a memory. And a lot of persons are now saying, you know, we need to spice up our sex life. We need to spice up things in the bedroom. A lot of times too, the issues that we have encountered, we have left them unresolved. And that's a huge thing. Not because you don't deal with something means that it does not exist. Not because you sweep something under the carpet means it's not gonna come back up and bite you in the butt. All right. So sometimes we let those things stay there and then enter COVID. So we have to be stuck with each other now longer than we are accustomed to. And all those issues that we swept under the mat, they are coming back and we are now having to face them. We are now feeling as though we are forced to deal with them. So all these things contribute to unhappy bedroom life. And then you would recognize that the only thing that you are doing on your bed is sleeping. The only thing that you're doing on the couch is sitting and watching TV. The only thing you're doing in the laundry room is washing clothes. Okay, so the thing is, a lot of times when persons come and complain about the sad state of their bedroom life, nothing is wrong with the bedroom life, you know. The mechanics of how things work, once you get them working, they work well. So the issues that you have really have nothing to do with the mechanics of it. So when you come and say, I need some help, my sex life, need some sprucing up, maybe let's not talk about the sex life. You have that down pat, you know exactly what to do. Let's talk about some of the other issues that contribute and that trickle down into your bedroom activity. So if there are lots of issues that we have to deal with, and you're deciding that, okay, maybe we'll go to see a counselor, or maybe we'll step back a little bit and try to work out or try to identify what are some of the things that are contributing to us not being as excited about each other sexually as we were before. Some persons find that they're not as sexually attracted or easily sexually aroused by their partner. But that does not mean that we should just let your sex life just fall by the way. There are some things that you can do to help to nurture sexual intimacy in your marriage. Because remember, sex is one of the big things in a marriage. I always think that if we live together in a house and we don't do anything at all, we might as well just be brothers and sisters. So having sex in a marriage is one of the very most important things in that marriage. And a lot of persons, after they make their children, they settle into being, excuse me, mommy and daddy, and forsake being husband and wife, forsake being lovers. So while you are working on your issues and trying to get them done, I just want to give you a couple of things that you can continue to do to help to nurture sexual intimacy. Now, note, sexual intimacy does not necessarily mean sexual intercourse. Okay, so sometimes the issues that we're working on, we really cannot be that way with our person, but we could still nurture the sexual intimacy, the closeness, the fondness. We can still do those things together. So once you have decided that whatever it is affecting us, we want to work on it, we are going to work on it. Here are some things that you can do to help to continue nurturing the sexual intimacy in your marriage. And these things are just simple. I think sometimes when we think of trying to solve a problem, we think of it in terms of Captain Nemo. Remember when Captain Nemo was told that he had to dip in the Jordan 7 times? We say we go into the river. And then when he got there, he was like, that is all I have to do. I just have to dip in the water and that's it. He wanted something big, magical, maybe come out and wave a magic wand and fairy dust. He wanted some big thing. He had a problem with doing something so simple. So sometimes the solution to the issues that we face are just simple things. Sometimes there are things that we used to do, but we no longer do. So here are some simple things that you can do to help to nurture the sexual intimacy in your marriage while you're trying to sort out the other parts of what might be getting in the way. Something as simple as love letters. Remember when you were dating and you used to send a little letter, do you love me? Take one, yes or no? I mean, that was so silly, but it was so cute. Remember when you got engaged and of course you were holding out until marriage, but you got really poetic in terms of explaining to your person what it is you want to do, what it is you're looking forward to. Those nice, sexy love letters, that can really send some kind of shivers down somebody's spine because they have experienced it with you. So they know exactly what you're talking about when you say that particular thing. So what about writing love letters to your husband, to your wife? So you can drop them in his pocket, you can drop it in a lunch kit, you can put it somewhere where during the day they will discover it. And so they know that you're thinking of them in those kind of erotic ways. And that of course will set the burner, you know, when you put something on the stove to simmer, so you're putting those love notes and that is simmering during the day. So when you come home in the night, the fire has already been lit, all right? So number one, love letters. Start writing love letters to your person. If you're not one of those who like to write love letters, like me, I think that when you write love letters, that is evidence. If it falls into the wrong hands, I mean. Well, so we into technology now. So what about sending a text message, a WhatsApp message? Send a little note during the day to let your person know what you're thinking about, that you're actually thinking about them. Even if you're not sending love notes, another point is keep in touch during the day. Sometimes the entire day goes by, you don't know how your person is doing, you don't know if they're stressed out, you don't know if they're just longing out for somebody to say, hey, I'm praying for you, hey, I'm thinking about you. So just checking in during the day actually helps somebody to know that I care about them. And when you know that somebody cares about you, that goes a long way in you feeling close to them, and you want to be intimate with them, because that is somebody who does not just want you for your body and what your body can give them, but they're seriously concerned about you as a person. So check in with your person during the day. Just ask them, how are you doing? Then there's this thing that people used to do when they were dating, and you know, you're not supposed to have sex and you're not supposed to take off all your clothes, and you're not supposed to get caught if you're doing it. So a lot of teenagers, a lot of people before they're married, what they used to do, they keep your clothes on, right? So you teeth in something, as we say in Trinidad, you teeth in something and you're keeping your clothes on and you fondling each other with your clothes on. However, as soon as we get married, we say, you know what? We were doing the clothes on thing because we didn't have permission, but now we have permission, we just train off all our clothes. But that actually adds something. There's a text that says soul and bread is sweet. And so even though you are married, that's something that you can actually do. Keep your clothes on longer while you are engaging in foreplay. Don't just strip off your clothes one time. Stay maybe on the couch and you're talking, you're probably just looking at TV or something. Keep your clothes on longer while you're engaging in foreplay, while you are fondling each other. Keep your clothes on. Act like teenagers. Act as though you're stealing something. That actually sends some extra blood flowing through your veins. People, if you are having issues in the bedroom, then going back to the bedroom is not going to conjure up pleasant memories. Especially if you live alone. People, the bedroom is not the only place that married people are allowed to have sex, okay? So the Bible did say the bed is undefiled, but I do not believe that that is what it meant, right? The kitchen, there's a living room couch, there's a laundry, you come home from somewhere, you park up in the car is undefiled as well. Come on, people, get creative. So if you are having negative memories of the bedroom, then change location, because as soon as you go to the bedroom, those negative memories are going to come back. Change locations and do something else, do something exciting. It is your husband, it is your wife, you have permission, it is blessed. Come on, let go of your inhibitions and change your location. So I think I was given 15 minutes. So I'm checking up on my time here. All right, something simple again, something as simple, shower together. That can create so many opportunities for you. And that can do a number of things. Having your person scrub your back with the rag or the loofah or whatever. For those of you who are very shy and you think, okay, there are things that we cannot do, then if you go to the shower together, you can have the opportunity to actually wash your partner. And then if you're thinking, okay, a particular body part is not clean enough, then you wash it as much as you believe it should be washed. So when you come out of the shower, you are sure it is well washed because you washed it. All right. So showering together actually creates a lot of romantic moments together for couples. And also if you have children, sometimes when you have children, couples find it difficult to have intimate, private moments. Their children come knocking, mommy, why is the door locked, mommy? In the shower, the children know mommy and daddy are taking a shower. So you have that private time in the shower to do a number of things together without the children necessarily interfering with you. So I hope you're taking notes. Shower together. Scheduled sex dates. I know that it doesn't sound very romantic because I mean, this thing is supposed to be spontaneous and the man is supposed to know exactly what I'm thinking. He's supposed to be a mind reader, etc. However, with life being so hectic and fast-paced, you might find that the weeks are going by and you're not having sex because things are so busy. It's one thing after another. Tomorrow morning, we just get up, we rinse and repeat. And sex is not on the schedule, so it does not get done. Once you really are committed to making sex an integral part of your relationship, then you would have to spend some time scheduling it into your calendar. Just like you have a diary and you put down that I have a meeting tomorrow at 10 with the boss, or tomorrow night I have church at 6 o'clock, etc. You write that into your diary. And if somebody else calls, you say, no, sorry, let me check. No, I have something scheduled for that time. So you schedule in your sex dates with your husband, with your wife. And on those nights, you send the children to bed earlier. You send the children by their grandparents. You send the children by their auntie, by their uncle. Hello. People think that, and I hear it a lot, when we get married, everything is not about us anymore. Everything is about the children. However, the husband and the wife, the mommy and the daddy, they are the ones who have to take care of themselves before they can take care of anybody else. They have to nurture the relationship. Do you remember when you're on a plane, the instructions they give, in the case of loss of oxygen in the cabin, the oxygen mask will come down and you have to put on yours first before you have the person next to you, even if it is your child. So the mommy and the daddy, the husband and the wife who are supposed to be taking care of everything, they have to take care of themselves. They have to take care of their relationship before they can really give to their children. And a lot of parents do not do that. So it's important that you nurture that part of your relationship. Send them by the granny, send them by the uncle, send them by the auntie, send them by a trusted friend, and you nurture that relationship that you have because you recognize the importance of that part of it. Communicate. There's something that I always say. You have not because you ask not. You know, sometimes we say, you know, sex kind of boring, you know, I don't really like. I think sex is only for the man because, you know, he's be enjoying himself, but I don't really be enjoying myself. Have you ever told them what it is you like? Have you ever told them what it is you want in order to enjoy yourself? Now that sounds like I'm talking to the ladies here, but I think it could be relevant to the men as well. It is important that you not let your partner keep guessing. Because sometimes your husband could be very well trying his best, and in all his mind, he thinks that he is pleasing you because he's doing what he believes you want. He's doing what he believes you enjoy. If that is not so, you need to tell your husband what you want. Of course, you don't always have to tell him verbally in terms of, nah, you ain't doing that right. Nah, I need you to do X or Y. No, you can direct his hand to where you want. For example, a lot of men are very exciting, and so they know that they want to get down to the main course, all right? So they might send their hand there one time. If you're not ready, then you can just direct your hand away and put his hand exactly where you want it at that time. And then when you are ready, you can direct his hand. And that is a gentle way of communicating to him what you want now, what you want then, what feels good. Another way of communicating is by verbal. So don't lie there and the man is guessing because of all his hard work, he's not getting anything. And he's like, I wonder, because I'm hearing anything. And he's just going by guess. This is not about guesswork here, people. All right. So make some noises so he knows, aha, this is a noise she made. It was a louder noise, so maybe this was more intense. So next time he's coming back and he has that in his mind, he knows where to go first and where to go next. He knows exactly because you're communicating to him. People, if you do not ask for what you want, you will not get it. You have not because you ask not. Okay, and that is biblical, people. That is biblical. So I just want to drop a few more things here. Change positions. No, I'm not here to mash anybody's corn. I'm not here to offend anybody. I mean, I just came here, right? I just came here, so I'm not trying to make any enemies. But I need to speak the truth. You need to change positions, and you're not just changing positions because you're trying to show off that you're an acrobat. There can be certain functions to changing your position, right? So you change position because you recognize that in this particular position, you're not feeling as much pleasure as you know you can feel, right? So you change it up and you go somewhere else. Then in that position, you realize, oh, this one is too sweet. I think I'm going to climax in a few minutes or maybe a few seconds, and I'm not ready for this to end. So you change that position. You can also change position depending on if your wife is pregnant. You change position if you are tired. You change position depending on if your husband's penis is big, if it is small. You can do some research and there are different positions, right? So there are different positions based on you and what is your like and what is your interest, okay? So it's not about changing position just for acrobatic or to break a sweat. It is about your needs, your experiences. So a lot of persons just say, you know, I can just lay there and the man could just take it. No, even if you are just laying there, you are robbing him of his pleasure, because a lot of the pleasure that he's experiencing is based on the reaction that he's seeing you giving based on what he's doing. So if you just lay there in starfish position, you're actually robbing him of some of his pleasure. So I'm gonna wrap up here now and end up with this bit of homework for you. So we're talking about healing, right? So I'm just gonna give you a little bit of homework here. Everyone who is married was attracted to something in their partner, right? So we all are attracted to people for different reasons. Maybe because you recognize that this person is really intelligent or they're driven, or maybe you're thinking that this person is really good looking, he takes care of himself, she takes care of herself, or whatever. So somehow we fall out of love with these people. Here's your homework for me. Make a list of the things that you were attracted to before you got married. Make a list of the reasons why you got married to this person. And then ask yourself, how many of these things still do exist? Chances are those things are still there, right? Maybe not all, because after you made 6 children, you probably wouldn't be a size 2 anymore. But ask yourself, how many of those things that attracted me to my partner initially are still there? And then if the majority of them are still there, maybe the issue is not about the person. Maybe there are deeper things that we need to work on. Sometimes when we're not happy with ourselves, it translates into us not being happy with other people. So maybe we need to do some introspection. So this whole idea of sex and sexual intimacy and healing, it really is very wide and deep. And it takes a lot of maturity, a lot of honesty, a lot of vulnerability to really be the one that God created this whole act to be. So this afternoon, that is just what I want to drop with you. I trust that it made sense, that it was meaningful to you, and that at least something sparked something in you that you decided that, you know, this is something I am going to try, maybe later, tomorrow, something. But I trust that I really, really made a lot of sense to you. And this is where I do believe I am going to close off, and you will be free to ask your questions. So thank you so very much for having me.
Thank you so much, Rebecca. You gave us so much insight this evening. I see our chat is already excited with responses. We have a response here that says, send them somewhere else. How old these children would be. If they're small, put them to bed and the rest of the night is yours. If they are teenagers or older, them not paying you no mind. I don't think this is realistic. Children must be taught private time, their own and their parents. But we will continue with the chat because we are not through yet. We still have our very own Dr. Dupe, who is going to talk about the medical part of sexual health. Dr. Dupe? We will remind you all that, as usual, for the month Sexual Health, this is an adult-only chat. I forgot to give the disclaimer earlier, but for those of you who have your children nearby, we would encourage you to probably send them to a different room if you do not want them to hear this discussion this evening. Dr. Dupe, good evening. How are you?
Hi, good evening, Luri. Actually, this evening, I just thought I would give all of the time to Rebecca and the people their questions, because I know that last week we went way over time. So I really was just expecting that we were going to have questions and for Rebecca and answers from her. So yeah, this is where I stand.
Thank you. Definitely, no problem. Well, that is true because last week We went all the way to, I think, 7:30, if
Yes.
I recall correctly. And we had some questions that we still did not ask, because we were hoping that Rebecca would help us with some of those questions. Dr. Dupuy, do you have them on hand by any chance?
I do not have all of them from last week, but I do have a few. I will start with this one.
Okay. You're
Sorry.
muted.
Yes, this one may sound weird, and the person who sent it in felt that it was really weird. This person is over 70, probably 77, so no spring chicken. And says that whenever she goes into a mall or shopping center in America, that she immediately gets horny.
Sexually aroused, yes.
Sexually aroused, seriously sexually aroused. It does not happen when she is in her own country, but it happens when she is in Barbados. And she's in the US.
In the US.
Right. And she's trying to find an answer for that, an explanation for becoming sexually aroused when she gets into a shopping mall in the USA.
So what is your take on that? Yes.
Okay, that is quite an interesting question. I would have preferred to have a sit down for that person to give me some more background, because in terms of what experiences they had in the mall, etc. Because what is just coming to my mind is that sometimes there are triggers. So for example, if there's a certain scent that maybe you and your partner used to light up a candle or something, and you go into that mall and that scent is there, it comes back to you, then that can be one of those reasons that you feel aroused when you go into that mall. Maybe it could be linked to an experience you and somebody that you were close with, you used to shop together, and so that brings back memories. And even though it is not a memory, it's in your system, and so your body's reacting and you're not even sure why, but that could be some of the reasons. But it would be interesting to have a deeper conversation with that person to know, like, to get more information, to give a more informed response.
Yes, I did ask those questions, whether there had been that experience, whether she had gone shopping with her first boyfriend, etc. She said the first time she went to America and into a mall, she was a virgin. She had no sexual experience whatsoever. So she doesn't think there's anything to connect it to anything sexual or related to anybody, because she didn't even, I mean, she just knew about sex theoretically. She didn't have anything close to a sexual encounter. So it's really strange.
Yes, it is for me as well. I really never heard about that.
Yeah, I'm sure.
It would be interesting if it still happens. Or if
it still happens. It still happens in her 70s. It still happens. Yes.
I would definitely want to do some research on that. Yeah, it's very interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, I don't have a solution or reason for that.
Yes. Okay. I know that Kathy Ann had collected some of the questions as well. But let's see. All right, so here's another one. I have found that women in their 50s and 60s are very sexual. Well, I guess that means, what could be some of the reasons for that? Women in their 50s and 60s.
I think, first of all, that people who, it was usually believed, sorry, that as women got older, they were no longer interested in sex. But we have to remember that a lot of times the reason we believe women are not interested in sex like men are is because of culture and society. And we feel that, okay, we can't express it as much as men can easily do and get away with it. But that being said, there are some reasons why women over 50 might be more sexually relaxed. One of the big ones is now they know they cannot get pregnant. Because
Mm.
a lot of women are afraid to truly express themselves sexually because they don't want to get another child. Because we do know that some people actually get pregnant while on birth control. So even though they are using a barrier method, there is that possibility. So once you cross menopause, once you're going through menopause and you know, I can relax, I can do whatever I want now because I cannot get pregnant, then of course they just become more relaxed and throw themselves into it. That
Mhm.
is one of the big things that I see in terms of that. Also, because we hear that women are more concerned about their environment. So a man could probably have sex and the children could be crying, and that is okay. But the wife is going to be distracted and she's probably going to start lubricating less because, oh my gosh, my baby is crying. I wanted my baby is okay. Or maybe there's a noise outside the window. But now at that age, the children are probably up and grown and left. They're probably in university, so they have the house to themselves. So then again, there is total privacy. So nobody there to distract you. There's nothing to worry about. So then we can just really enjoy ourselves and not worry about anything. So those two factors I know are two big factors in why women over their 50s seem to be more sexually charged than the younger ones.
Mhm. Mhm.
So that definitely makes a lot of sense.
And
Dr. GP, you have something?
another one is I can have sex twice a day, 7 days a week. My husband is the one who can't keep up. Is there something wrong with that? Well, the person didn't say their age.
So is that something wrong with that person or their husband?
Is that something? I think the person is probably asking something is wrong with them wanting to have sex so often.
No, I don't necessarily think so, because whether or not you are sexually aroused is dependent on a number of factors. If you are stressed out, if you are tired, if you are preoccupied with a whole lot of things, you probably would want sex less than somebody who is less stressed, somebody who is working out, somebody who is healthy, somebody whose mind is at peace, who feels that the opportunity has presented themselves would more or less want to have sex more than somebody who is on the other side. So if the opportunity has presented itself and they want to go for it, unless that person, once they have sex, they seem to be not ever satisfied. Because there's some people, okay, we have sex twice a day, 3 times a day, and they're still not satisfied. Then once they're satisfied, okay, I wouldn't think that is a problem. If they are to the extent where they obsessed over it and their husband is tired and they want to beat him over his head because he doesn't want to give in, or they threaten divorce because he's not stepping up, then I don't see that it's necessarily a problem. Maybe that person is healthy, that person is younger than their partner and probably have a little more energy as well. But no, I wouldn't jump out right away and say it's a problem. Again, maybe some more background information is needed to really say what is happening there.
Right.
We have another question here which says, my wife always wants me to have oral with her, but she don't want to do it to me. What can we tell this couple?
So yes, that is something that I hear, because I hear that couples, they say, okay, yeah, my wife, she really, really enjoys it, but somehow she doesn't want to. There could be a number of factors. Again, it's important to get more information, to sit down with the couple and find out exactly what is going on. Because one of the things that I said about taking a shower together, that was directly related to that. One of the reasons some people do not want to pleasure their partners orally is because they believe their body is not clean. So if you go to the shower together, you wash your person how you believe they should be washed. Then you are convinced that they are clean because you did the washing yourself, right? So then if that is your issue, you do not believe that your partner's body is clean, then once you wash your partner, then you should not have any issues. But it's important, it would be interesting to know what is the reason, Why is it that she does not want to? Is it that she had a negative experience in the past with a previous partner? Is it that she does not like the taste? She does not like the smell? She does not like the visual? It's interesting to have that conversation because I could understand the man not wanting to, the man not feeling totally appreciated because he is doing it to her and she is enjoying it and she doesn't want to do it. And that can be an issue. I mean, after a while, he probably might want to stop because you kind of sound like Jackie's scorning me and that's not going to make me feel good about myself. So it would be interesting to find out her reasons for not wanting to. So that's a conversation that they need to have.
So we can definitely encourage them to, as you said, take showers together so that if that is one of their reservations, then that they can take care of that.
Right.
We have some questions in the chat. We seem to have an active chat going on here. Someone says, Jean says, have you ever been monkeying around in the middle of the day and somebody drives up and you have to pretend you're not home and stay silent? So Errol is asking, is it true that men are more easily aroused by visuals than women are? Why are so many women using pornography as a means of arousal? Is that true, Rebecca?
A couple things there. It would be interesting to know where he's getting his information from in terms of why are so many women using porn. Where is he getting that information from? Because as far as I'm aware, men are using porn a whole lot. So it would be interesting to know where that information is coming from. And yes, men are believed to be more visual. However, women are very visual as well. Women are very visual as well. So if a woman is visual and that is what she's using, I'm not sure we should say, okay, well, you're probably not supposed to be because you're not supposed to be visual. Come off, you're trying to tilt the statistic. I don't know. I'm curious to know where that research is coming from. I'm a little confused about that.
Okay, can I ask another question that was sent in last week? And I think Errol also sent it. Yes, it's about men and their reluctance to go to therapy, even if it is sometimes obvious to the other partner that they do need therapy. Is there some way that a woman can get a man to, is there some way that you can suggest that she would be able to get through to her partner if he is resistant to the idea of therapy?
Yeah, so we see that happening a lot. And not only in sex therapy, we see that in general. Men don't like to go to the doctor. They would wait until they're dying and then their wife have to drag them on stretcher. They don't want to go to the doctor and they don't want to go to the psychologist because of course they're supposed to be able to know how to solve their own problems, being a man, etc. One of the things that a wife can do if they're having sexual issues, one of the things she can do is to start seeking help on her own. And maybe if he's seeing that there is some sort of improvement because she is going, then he would be thinking too, oh, you know, this thing is really working. I'm seeing some improvement because my wife has been going. And then if she impresses on him the importance of it to her, because if she's thinking, you know, we really have a problem, and he's thinking, no, we don't have a problem. If she really impresses on him, you know, this is really a serious problem and I'm unhappy and we're supposed to be trying to make each other happy in this relationship, can you come? Because sometimes we don't understand the importance of an issue to one person. We might be thinking, no, it's no big deal. But if we really understand the impact that our actions are doing to each other, if we really are considerate and we want to be the partners that God intended us first to be in marriages, in relationships, then it would be easier for us to do something that pleases the other person, that's going to make the other person happier. So yeah, if you look around and you see that a lot of persons are suffering because they are not going to therapy. And then you see a lot of persons who can say, yes, I did go to therapy and it was uncomfortable, but it worked. Then that could be an encouragement. I have seen couples, I have seen persons who were not very comfortable coming to see me, but once we started, I tend to make everything light and happy, and people are laughing and they are very relaxed because it's already such a very intimate and touchy subject. So I tend to not make things so tight and serious. So if there's somebody that you can go to that you can actually feel comfortable with, then that is definitely going to help. So if she can impress on her husband those things, then hopefully he would be more inclined to at least give it one chance, and hopefully that one chance will leave a positive impression on him and he would want to go back again.
Okay. Do we have any more questions? So any of our participants, any of our guests have any other questions for Miss Rebecca? Remember, she's our guest here this evening, so we don't have the privilege of having her every week to ask her these fitting questions that we would normally have. Is ED often a factor causing sexual conflict? Wives complain and husbands get defensive.
Hi, so is erectile dysfunction often a factor causing sexual conflict? Wives complain, yes, because sometimes a husband might have an issue, but he's not going to admit it. He is probably going to say, no, you're probably the one who cannot be satisfied. Nothing is wrong with what I offer. And it's important that as wives, we find a way to not bruise his ego, but I'm not sure how you can tell somebody that, you know, we have a sexual issue, you seem to have an issue, without making them feel bad. But while you're doing it, even though it will still sting, while you're doing it, it's important that you be gentle, that you understand that this is very sensitive, and you talk to them in a way that you're not going to make situations worse, right? So there's some simple things that the persons can do so that they can improve the situation. So the both of you all can work together on it. Like I said, it can be very delicate. For example, how do you tell somebody their breath is smelling bad? We always kind of worry and wonder how you want to tell somebody. It can be tricky, but if you work on it together, for example, for example, I went home by a friend of mine. I went straight home, straight there from work, and I don't remember what I ate for the day. And I was not aware that my breath was probably offensive. All I knew is that he went to the fridge, he took out a mint, he put one in his mouth, and he gave me one. I understood one time what was going on. I didn't say anything. I put the mint in my mouth, all right? So there's some simple things that you can do so that the person does not feel offended. You can work on things together and not just leave him out in the cold and make him feel that, okay, what is happening to you is your fault. You're the one who is not contributing to me feeling satisfied sexually. And then while he's dealing with his erectile dysfunction issue, there are lots of things that couples can still do sexually, even without the use of a penis. So that does not necessarily mean the end of your sex life because your husband has a problem with some sort of erectile dysfunction. So this is probably time for you to bring out your creative juices and have second spring, as we call it, while he is working on the issue that he is dealing with, while the both of you are dealing on the issue.
Wonderful, Rebecca. You actually answered two questions in one right there for us. Because the question following was also speaking about older couples, and if the man is impotent or suffers from erectile dysfunction. And you also mentioned how they can get creative and relate with each other sexually. Now, for those of you who may have joined late, I did take my notes. And we're going to review some of the things that Rebecca spoke about that we can do as married couples to nurture our sexual relationships. Number one, she said that we must continue to exchange love letters. She also says that we must keep in short touch during the day. You can send the person a message, find out how they're doing, find out how they're feeling, if their day is going well, check in on them. Keep your clothes on longer while engaging in foreplay to encourage that feeling of anticipation. She also says that we should get creative and change location. As the Bible says, the bedroom is not defiled, but also the entire house. So as married couples, once it is blessed by God, then everywhere that we do it is blessed. Shower together. Schedule sex dates. I found that one particularly interesting, but then I thought, I guess in a sense, it can build anticipation for that date and time, because if you know that you have that particular appointment, the same way you would anticipate a date on appointments, the same way you would anticipate a sex date. Communicate. You have not because you ask not. I'm going to keep that in mind, Rebecca. And the last one is change position. So guys, and she also gave you a homework. So remember, make a list of the things that cause you and your partner to get attracted to each other, or what caused you to get attracted to your partner, and what made you marry that person. And you look at that list and see if some of these things or if most of these things still exist. As she says, as we get older, as we progress in life and in our marriage, things will not remain the same. Our size will not remain the same. Certain things will change, but the majority of the things will remain constant. Rebecca, thank you so much for joining us. And I want to thank, we still have some more questions. Should vibrators and toys be used in the relationship? Rebecca, I'm sure you were expecting something like that.
My audiences never fail when it comes to that question. Every time that question comes up, every single time. So not wanting to get put out of the church, that is not something that I tell people yes or no, right? People in their relationship, they do what they feel comfortable with. They do what the both of you feel comfortable with. Nobody is supposed to do anything that should make the other person feel uncomfortable. Now, that being said, if we are having some sort of issue, some sort of sexual issue, sometimes the toys are necessary. Now, people say that, your penis and your vagina, it should be good enough, and nobody should try to bring in anything that is like a third party and that is like cheating. What I say about toys or pleasure aids, as they are called, it is important that we not be so addicted to them that our partner's body cannot do the trick. All right. So if you are using those pleasure aids and you're so addicted to them, and trust me, those things can work up some sort of magic that your partner, even on the best day, cannot mimic. So you need to be very careful when you're using those things that they do not make you so excited and addicted that your partner cannot satisfy you. So when you are considering that, ask yourself, what is the reason you're doing it? Is it that you are having some sort of sexual issue medically and you're using it to substitute? For example, if your husband has an erectile dysfunction, if for some accident or some ailment he's not able to function. So in an effort to keep your sex life alive, that is what you are trying. Is it that he is using the vibrator in order to directly stimulate the clitoris, which we know is very important to the climax of a woman? So what are the reasons you're using them? If it is because you are just not satisfied and you want to swing from the chandelier and all those kinds of things like that, then it's really important that you be careful, because once you start going down the deep end, it's very difficult for you to come back. So I never encourage perversions, but I never say no because persons know what the reason is. If you found that your partner's penis is too big, and that does exist, there are constriction rings that you can actually use, and that is called a pleasure aid as well. And that has a function so that your partner does not get injured. So that is something that you can use. If you are married to someone who has penile phobia and so they have difficulty being penetrated, and even though we advise that when you're going to have sex for the first time, you insert one finger and insert another finger, there are also dilators that you can use for that purpose. And they are also pleasure aids and they might be considered toys. So there are lots of functional ones. And if your reason for wanting to use it is a functional reason, once the both of you are okay with it, and the one person is not trying to hit the other one with a hammer over the head and say, this is what we have to do because I've seen it on YouTube, then yeah, sure. But of course, pray about it. If you feel that it's going to keep you out of heaven, by all means, don't. I don't want to take off your spot from in heaven. Definitely not. I hope that answers your question.
Thank you so much again, Rebecca, for being with us and answering all our questions. Lori, just to not necessarily interrupt, but just to remind you that our viewers on YouTube have been sending their praises. Rebecca, just letting you know, they have been saying how practical your tips have been. And I have a few comments from Nigel. Nigel says, I'll just read them as they were. Nigel says, sexual performance and satisfaction for a husband or boyfriend to his wife or girlfriend is one of the three most important things for a man to do. If the wife is going to bemoan the husband, she will get nowhere regarding the issue. A husband will be trying on his own, for sure, recommendations and remedies to surprise the wife. So he's just offering the perspective, the male perspective, and some others have said that your advice is very practical and they were glad to be here. So just letting you know.
Thank you very much. And I'm actually looking in the chat and somebody says, Errol says, could it be that Christians have not had enough sex ed and that is why they are reluctant to try new things? And that is one of the main reasons I got into sex therapy, because I saw the need and I didn't see a lot of persons doing it. And that is why I decided that since I was already very comfortable talking about sex, why not go into it? And so that is why before people get married, I offer premarital sexual intimacy counseling. And a lot of them are like, wow, when we went to our pastor for counseling, we didn't get any of this. So yeah, it is important that we give people the information so that they don't end up saying, okay, we're not going to do this or we're not going to do that, and hold it as though their salvation depends on it. Education is very important.
Indeed, I definitely agree on that. And with that, we have to say good evening, everyone. Thank you so much, Rebecca, for joining us, for presenting such vital information to married people, to people in general, for answering these questions that only professionals can, because we encourage and we always make sure that we get our professionals to come in here and speak to us and answer those questions that they might not get answered otherwise. So we want to thank you, all our viewers on Zoom who have been very active, and our viewers on YouTube who also have been sending their comments. We have a comment from Mr. Erickson Fabian, who says that he likes your presentation style. It's very conversational and comfortable. So kudos to you on that. And we welcome all our viewers to, even if it's to watch again, to look at you again, you can view our videos on YouTube on Good News Seventh-day Adventist Community Church. You can share this information with your friends. Remember, this program airs live every Thursday evening at 6 p.m. So thank you for joining us and have a good day.
Take a moment for your body. Take a moment for your mind. Take a moment for your spirit. Take a moment to be loved. Take a moment to be healthy. Take a moment when you pray. Take a moment for worship. Take a moment every day. Take a moment for your body. Take a moment for your mind. Take a moment for your spirit. Take a moment to be well. Take a moment to be happy. Take a moment when you pray. Take a moment for worship. Take a moment to show you care. Take a moment to show you care. Just to show how much you care.